Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a little dose of reality. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Real Talk Rants. Of course, I hope all of you know me by now, Steve Molloy, here tonight to talk about the preseason game, or excuse me, pregame show about the Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins playing on Sunday, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited. I am excited. I just can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. I am so excited, so curious to see how this 2024 Miami Dolphins performs. I really am, guys. Um, and we also had a game last night. So, man, that was a great game. Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens. I mean, the battle of the quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. You saw what both those quarterbacks can do, and Mahomes, right? I know a lot of folks are saying, well, Lamar Jackson, he missed a couple of passes, and he did. But guess what? A lot of quarterbacks do that. And number one, how many quarterbacks in the NFL in this league can put their team in a position to even get down there under those circumstances? Not very many. Not very many. But I want to welcome everybody into the chat. We see Todd Fowler's in here. Thank you, Todd, for joining. I appreciate you coming in. I know you're a first timer. I've seen you in the chat, so appreciate you for joining the community. Raphael, my man, is in here. How you doing, brother? So just don't forget, hit that like button as you're coming in. Also, if you're new to the channel, whatever platform you're watching from, if you're on other platforms, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, come over here to the community and hit that like button over here, so all these notifications can go out to all of our Doll fans to watch the show. Also, again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe bell and share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Also, I want to get a little housekeeping out before I move on. Make sure that if you all live in the South Florida area or visiting down to South Florida to watch the game, make sure you stop by 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, right? Go check out Caneswear. You got to go out, down to Caneswear, get your Dolphins gear or any of the South Florida teams, gear, the Panthers, the Marlins, the Heat, but specifically since it is football season, let's get some Dolphin gear, man, so we can cheer our team on. And if you're out of state or you're out of town, just go online to caneswear.com and you can purchase all your gear online as well. Okay. And tell them the Fins Talk Sports Network family sent you down there to purchase your gear. Also, don't forget about the Greatest Show on Surf. They have shirts and things of that nature. Dolphins offense was, I think they ended up being number one. They were number one at one point. I think they did end up at number one, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat there. But anyway, so you can go to a Greatest Show on Surf .shop, and you can also use the promo code FinsTalk, and you can get 15% on all your shirts from the Greatest Show on Surf. So that's all I got for the housekeeping. So let's get back to business. Raphael, brother, I am pumped for the season, man. I am excited. This should be a great game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. Last time we played the Miami Dolphins was in 2000, when the Dolphins played the when the Dolphins played the Jacksonville Jaguars was in 2021. We actually lost 23. I think we lost. Let me see. I think we lost that game 23-20, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Let me see. I have it here. Yeah, let's see where I have it at. Yeah, we Jaguars. Yeah, I believe we lost that game 23-20. And the series, the Jacksonville Jaguars lead the series 6-5. So they lead the series 6-5. Um, and so it should be a great game. But before I get into the game specifics and all that kind of stuff, I want to go over the injury report. The injury report has come out. Perhaps some of you have seen it already. Maybe some of you haven't. I'm going to go ahead and read the injury report out to you. And also, I want to make mention too. Omar Kelly, when the injury report came out, Omar Kelly mentioned to someone he would on X, he was tweeting it out, and he said there's still like a half a dozen players that are injured, that are still injured, and some of them haven't been reported on. Some of the players haven't reported on the injury report because they didn't go to get their treatment. So I don't know if that's part of the protocol. They get their treatment, and then they diagnose that person's injury from there, and then add it to the injury report if need be. But anyway, that's what he said, so I thought I'd throw that in there. But man, the injury list was looking really, really crazy on Wednesday. But I won't go all the way back to Wednesday. But Malik Washington is definitely out for this game, so he won't be playing with his injury. And then Jalen Ramsey is questionable, and he's another story that we can get into. I'm not going to get into it tonight, although he signed that extension. We $73 million 3-year extension, $55 million guaranteed. Look, I'm not going to talk. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I'm going to have another podcast dedicated to how I feel about the contract situations with not just Ramsey, but with Waddle and Tyreek and Tua, and also a little bit on how I feel about this team, the state of the team, the state of the Miami Dolphins at present time. Just my opinions and my thoughts on that. So those are the folks that are injured and that are going to be out. We got Malik Washington, and then Jalen Ramsey is questionable. It sounded like he wasn't going to play if you heard his interview. So we'll see on that. And if he doesn't play, guess what? They're still going to have to find a way to win. There's no excuses. No excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses. If he's not playing, next man up, you find a way to win. So let's get into this game. So here's the thing. If he does not play, we have a little dilemma here, right? Are they going to put in Ethan Bonner in his place, or are they going to take Nick Needham off the practice squad and put him in the slot and maybe put Kader Kohu in as a cornerback? Or, I mean, what else can they do? Do you guys have any ideas in the chat? What do you think they're going to do? I really don't know. Ethan Bonner, I know he's got a total of 22 snaps in the NFL. He had 11 snaps in the playoff game at Kansas City, I believe, and he had 11 snaps in the regular season. So, I mean, he's really a rookie, right? I mean, he's got playoff experience already, but 11 snaps, that was it. And he did cause that fumble in the Kansas City game. So that was good for him. He's up and coming. I don't know if he's quite ready to be thrown to the fire like that. I mean, I think I would put somebody who has some, savvy, some veteran savvy in there, like Kohu or Needham. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they work that out. So Ramsey's a critical piece on this defense, right? So Jaguars are coming into Hard Rock Stadium. they have some issues too, right? I mean, they have some questions too. Ethan Bonner or Fuller will start. Yeah, yeah. Well, Fuller is the starter. He definitely is the starter. But I would like to see him personally. I would like to see him call up Needham, but we know what he is, what he's done, and everything, and he has that veteran experience. But I don't know. That's their call, right? So anyway, so the Jacksonville Jaguars, they got some issues too, right? I mean, I don't know if there's issues, but they've got some questions on the defense. They got a new defensive coordinator. They just acquired Eric Armstead, who's a beast, coming from San Francisco 49ers up front. He had shoulder surgery in the offseason. How much of that if he's 100%, he wasn't on the injury report. So, I mean, there was only one on the injury report the whole week, since Wednesday anyway, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they got him, and then they've got the other two edge rushers that are really really good for. They have a combined 27 sacks. I think Eric Armstead. I think he had 7 to 10 sacks, something in that neighborhood. So they got a hell of an up front, right? And then you got Campbell, the safety or the cornerback. Um, they have some good players on the defense, but as I said, they have a new defensive coordinator, same as the Miami Dolphins, right? Miami Dolphins. That's been my whole pet peeve this whole offseason was I had questions on the Miami Dolphins defense, and I still do. I still do. I still have questions. I have questions about the defense coordinator. I have questions about the linebacking core. I have questions about the cornerback, the whole position group on the defense. I really have questions. So, um, going over to the Jacksonville Jaguars side, Trevor Lawrence, he was hurt a little bit last year. He made a big difference when he was out of the game for Jacksonville. So he was definitely hurt. And they were looking really good. They started off really well, and then they kind of just went petered out, and they lost 5. I think it was 5 games straight, if I'm not correct. If I'm not, my member serves me correctly. Let's put it that way. But they were a 9-8 team. Um, they probably, if Lawrence didn't get hurt or anything like that, they might have made it to the playoffs. All they needed was one more game, I think, one more or 2 more wins, and they would have been in the playoffs. So they're a playoff caliber team, up and coming team, young team. So it's it's going to be a challenge. I've said this from the start of this, off season when I saw when the schedule came out. I looked at that schedule and I'm like, man, Dolphins don't have an easy schedule at all. This is going to be a challenge for them. Last year we saw like 6 or 7 cupcake teams, and Miami just steamrolled by them. Right? Not this year. Ain't happening. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh man, this is a guaranteed win with Jacksonville. No problem. We're a better team than them. We're more talented." Yes, we are. But I don't know if you heard not the interview, but you heard the statement that one of their star players said they which is no secret, right? There's no secret. You take away first read from Tua, he holds on to the ball and just messes up the whole offense timing, and everything else just goes down the drain. So that is their game plan. That's their blueprint. Pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple on paper, but it's a little harder, when you're actually out there playing against the Tyreeks and the Waddles and the Achans and Tua getting the ball off quick, right? The only question I have on the offense is can that O-line hold the blocks off if Tua's first read isn't there? And number 2, can Tua go through his progressions? Will he have time to go through his progressions, right? And maybe go off script if he has to and create. That's something we didn't see a lot last year. He has done it, but not a lot. So I believe with this offensive line, the front, 4 of Jacksonville Jaguars and their game plan against this offense, their blueprint they have against this offense. I'm sorry, but Tua Tagovailoa, I know he lost some weight. He's a little smaller and everything. He's going to have to he's going to have to get creative out there on that football field. And not saying we don't have the players to do it, right? We added John O. Smith. Now, I don't know about Jalen Wright. I know he was been in a compression sleeve. I don't know how many, if he's going to be on a limited snap basis. He's going to be on limited anyway with those two starters in front of him, and three with Jeff Wilson as well. So, he's going to have to get creative out there. We added John O. Smith. What can John O. Smith do? Is he going to be an asset? Is he going to, I know they got some packages for him. I hope so. There's no evidence of that yet, right? I mean, folks are up high on him and everything, but there's no evidence that he's going to be this great addition to the team yet. Okay. We got to see it with our own eyes. At least I've got to see it with my own eyes. I'll see it when I believe it. Okay. Because there's been a lot. I'm not going to get into a lot of this now. I'm going to do another video on the contracts and all the hype and talk and all this kind of crap. But there's been a lot of hype and talk, about these players, about the team, about this, that, and the other. And so put your money where your mouth is, guys. Dolphins, put your money where your mouth is, because you've been talking a lot of crap lately. Okay. But so we got the weaponry to handle, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now the Jaguars, they're a physical team, right? They're a physical team. They have a good running back, right? They got a really good running back. Physical running back, can come out and catch passes, and he's a good runner, right? So, and Trevor Lawrence is no slouch either. He's a very good quarterback, and that's going to be the quarterback duel, right? Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa. They both got their contracts. Both, I feel, weren't deserving of their contracts, but they got them. So now they both have to put the money where their mouth is, right? Show me the money. So they better, they showed them the money. So now they better show us some wins. And I mean playoff wins, AFC championship wins, Super Bowl wins. Okay. None of this crap. Oh, we were 11-6 and we went to the playoffs for the third year in a row, but we lost. But we were entertaining doing it. Anyway, so they're up for a tough challenge this week with this game. But I think the keys to the game, yeah, they got a good tight end too in Ingram. Yep. Yeah, Ingram's real good tight end. Yeah, Thomas, the rookie. Oh man, he's been really good in the preseason. Kirk, Gabe Davis. So yeah, I mean, we don't know what the rookie's going to be like, right? We don't know. He's a rookie. Kirk, we know what he is. We know what Gabe Davis is. They're not anything compared to a Tyreek or a Waddle, but they're decent receivers. They're good receivers. And they got a tight end. It's a decent tight end as well. So, it's going to be what the questions I have is our defense. Are they going to be able to gel right out the gate? We got a lot of new players on defense, Poyer, May, Brooks, and Anthony Walker, Ogba's back, Chop Robinson. We got a rookie in Chop Robinson, right? Well, we don't know how he's going to turn out. And then we got Kamara, we got Storm Duck, Ethan Bonner. Ethan Bonner's been with us, but he hasn't been, he hasn't started on a consistent basis. As I said earlier, he only had 11 snaps in the regular season last year. So we got a lot of new players on defense, and Calais Campbell. And these guys are not young either. They're not young spring chickens, a lot of them. So we'll see. We'll see. This is going to be a physical game. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be an extremely high-scoring game, but I think it's going to be somewhere and I'll give you my prediction in the mid-20s. That's what I think. Both teams are gonna offenses are gonna score on the defenses. So we'll see. So I want to ask you guys that are in the chat right now, Raphael and Todd and all that. What what do you- what say you? What do you think the score is going to be and who's going to win? You have a prediction for me, and then I'll give you my prediction. I'll wait, and I'll give you my prediction as soon as I see yours pop up. If you're still in the house. Oh, 34-31 Dolphins, just like week 1 vs the Chargers. Wow, wow, that's kinda high scoring. Um, no, I can see that. I can see that, Raphael. Definitely can see that. Um, I don't think it's gonna be quite that high. My prediction is, look, the Dolphins should win this game. If they don't, oh boy, you're gonna really hear it next Tuesday when I'm back on. You're gonna hear some ranting like you've never heard before. But I think it's gonna be 27-24. Miami comes out with a win. They win by a field goal. So that's my prediction on the game. I mean, Miami's on paper. They've got some really good players, at least on offense, and on defense too. But we don't know how they're going to perform. With this new defensive coordinator and gelling together as a team. So we'll see how that turns out. I believe last year, week 1 Chargers score. Yeah, it was 34-36. Yep. Yep, it sure was. It sure was. Hey, Kathleen, good to see you again. Thanks for joining tonight. You got a prediction for the game this weekend? Raphael put up his score 34-31, and I've got it 27-24. Our Miami Dolphins. I think they just have too much firepower for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So do you have a prediction, Kathleen? I'll wait for you to put up your prediction. Don't be shy. All right. Well, I'll wait. But anyway, um, so yeah, the Dolphins have been talking a big game lately, and California's in the house, brother. How you doing, man? Hey, you got a prediction for the game, California? I predicted 27-24. Miami's going to win by a field goal. I mean, they should win. They should win. I'm doing good, brother. You got a prediction for the game? But yeah, they've been talking a big game and everything, so I just want them to put their money where their mouth is. Tyreek, he also, yeah, we are winning. I believe we will, California. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, he's been hurt. Um, he had I think it was something wrong with his hand. He says he's good to go. I don't know, man. I hope he's 100%. We'll see. But an 80 or 90% Tyreek is better than half the players or more than half the players in the NFL. So I just don't want him getting re-injured again. And Jalen Wallow's been dealing with the issues throughout training camp. I don't think he's participated, but maybe 2-3 times throughout the whole training camp. So you know, the it's this. I have this gut feeling. I just have a bad feeling about this year. Not only us winning, but injury wise. It started off on the wrong foot. I mean, a lot of injuries. Now I know a lot. Mike McDaniel, he's really high on this load management thing, and he rests players. He might even go overboard on that. But that's something we're going to see too, right? This year, we're going to see if he went overboard on the load management or not. And the reason why I say that is yeah, yeah, yeah. Brewer did have a broken hand, Raphael. You're correct. He sure did. He says he's good to go, so he is playing. Liam Eichenberg will be the other guard, and Robert Jones, and then you got Austin Jackson, and of course Tehran is going to start. That's our offensive line. But yeah, I have a bad feeling because these injuries just started piling up throughout the off season. But my point is this load management thing. I don't know. Look, I'm old school, right? I was watching the Miami Dolphins back in 69, 70s and all that. Um, Man, Don Shula, man, he had two-a-day practices, man, in the hot beaming sun. They had no bubble, you know, and in my opinion, this is an NFL thing, right? I think this is an NFL thing. There is the toughness. The toughness isn't there anymore. Not like back in the day. Okay. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the mental toughness, the physical toughness, it's just not there anymore. And these players are just coddled, man. And I don't mean just the Dolphins. I mean, I do mean the Dolphins because I think they're coddled just too much. But throughout the NFL, these players are just coddled too much, and they're making more money too, millions and millions and millions of dollars. The guys when I was watching them, Larry Zonka, when he played for the Miami Dolphins in the '70s, his salary was $75,000 a year, 75,000 a year, and a lot of these players had jobs in the off season. They had to work. They had to work in the off season. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, California. I'm first generation, brother. But anyway, so what I'm getting at is this, okay? Um, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. I box, okay? So when you're preparing for a fight, right? When you're preparing for a fight, yes, you do all your drills, you do all your, all your necessary drills, do your running, do your road work, do your bag work, all that stuff, right? Shadow boxing, the whole bit, right? But you got to spar, okay? You got to spar. Now, I'm not saying sparring at 100%, right? Not in the beginning, okay? You gradually build up to that. You gradually build up to not 100%, probably 80% of power, right? So you've got to spar. And the reason why you do that is if you don't spar, and you can do all the training and all the drilling, all the running in the world, as soon as you hop into that boxing ring and you get punched in the face and you're not conditioned, it's not good. Okay? That's what you have to do with these football players. These football players, they've got to be, they got to do they got to hit each other, right? They got to make contact. Okay. They got to get their bodies conditioned. And I don't mean stamina wise or endurance wise. I mean physical wise. Okay. They got to get hit. A lot of these guys didn't even play in the preseason of the starters. They played a few series, and that was it. That's all the hitting they got, you know? So you got to condition your body for that physicality, for getting getting punched in the face, you know, and or your body's going to go into shock. It's gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt because you're not used to taking them blows, those punches, or getting hit physically, getting tackled, get thrown to the ground, and things of that nature. So I'm old school when it comes to that, and this is an NFL thing, okay? But the Dolphins, this organization, I think they're setting a trend in the NFL because a lot of NFL teams are looking at this team and they're, oh wow, look what they're doing. I can make $100 million and I can come down to the resort down there in Miami, right? And I don't have to practice. They coddle me down there. They feed me good. Everybody's kumbaya and all this kind of stuff. You know, and And I think some of these NFL teams are looking at that and they're saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let's do this," and all that. They're just trend setting, because it's a younger generation now coming up. It's that younger generation, right? And I'm not putting down the younger generation. I'm just saying they don't have that toughness that the old school guys had back in the day, right? They don't have that. So anyway, and when I say it could be a good thing or a bad thing is, sure, Larry Zonka got beat up. He get concussed or he get a broken nose or whatever. Back got hit in the back. I saw him get hit in the back one time where it looked like they bent him up like a pretzel. Right? He was on the ground for a little while. He got back up. They took him to the locker room, and 10 minutes later, he was back on the field playing. Now I know later on in life that's affected him, right? You watch the way some of these football players walk, right? They're crippled, some of them, right? But anyway, so maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. Let's see. I remember coach grabbing my face mask when I messed up. You can't do that now. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can't do that now. For sure. The younger generation are soft. I don't get it. My generation spawned them. Yeah, mine too. you know, um, I don't know, man. Uh, it, I just don't like it. I just don't agree with it. That's all. I mean, I have no control of how they run they run the NFL anymore, but never have. But I'm saying I don't have any control how they run the NFL. So, but I'm a fan. I've been a fan since like I said, since 1969. I always will be a fan. I was down there, lived in South Florida, grew up down there, born down there, and went to school, high school down there, played football in high school. Um, and I watched my Miami Dolphins and win two Super Bowls and go to three in the 70s. And I met a lot of the players, a lot of the players on those 70s teams. It was a lot different back then. They didn't have TSA in the airports and things of that nature, security and all that kind of stuff. Players were more I guess, as restricted. They weren't as restricted as they are now. So, but anyway, guys, I just wanted to have the pregame. There's really not a lot that we can judge, right? We can analyze at this time. I mean, I can only talk about what I've seen in the off season and all that in past history when these two teams played together. Like I said, in 2021. Um, I will say this: we've got a new defensive coordinator. Jacksonville has a new defensive coordinator. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how these two defenses perform out there on Sunday. I do think the Miami Dolphins are going to win. So if they don't, as I said, the following Tuesday, you're going to hear some ranting big time. Okay. We all know the players that got their money. Tua, Waddle, Ramsey, Tyreek got an extension. Uh, Mostert, he got some monies. So I don't know what they're doing down there, man. I don't know what they're doing down there in Miami. What Raphael say? I had to tell my son he couldn't take it in the Marines, maybe Army. He's attending university. I'm freaking proud of both of my sons. Excellent. Excellent, man. Good job, man. That's excellent. Yeah, man, the military's not for everybody, man. It's not. I'll be quite frank with you. I joined the Army. I was in the Army, and my first enlistment in the Army was in 1978, right? So I was in the Army from 1978 to 1981. I got out, and in 1998, I joined back up again. I went into active duty in 1998 again, and I stayed in 2010, did two deployments in Iraq. And what a total from 78 to 81 and then 98 to 2010, just it was just a different army, you know. I mean, back when I went, you drill sergeants, no lie, they take you behind the woodshed, right? I know that's an expression, but they'll take you behind the woodshed and they'll beat the crap out of you. You gave them some lip or something, it was tough, you know. Now I it wasn't tough for me because I was growing up kind of in a not too good of home atmosphere, let's say, and I saw a lot of stuff. So I was kind of tough at 18 when I went in. But when I went in 1998 and got out in 2010. And then I spent 3 years of, now between that time, before I enlisted again in 1998, I spent 3 years in the Army Reserve. And I didn't like the reserve, and I said, man, if I'm going to do this, I might as well, jump in and do it all the way. So I decided to go active. And I figured, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm going to jump in and do it 100%. And that's what I did. But anyway, enough of my stuff. I was active duty 96 to 2000, combat job, but no combat. Hey man, you do what you got to do, brother. Not everybody goes to combat. Not everybody, shoots a weapon, right? And like in the Navy, not everybody goes, some folks join the Navy and say, I'm going to go on a ship and travel the world. No, some of them stay in dry dock, man. They don't go anywhere, you know. But it's still, you're still serving the country. You still joined, volunteered. And, we need all, whether you were support or in combat unit or whatever, it all comes together. We all have one goal in mind, right? Anyway, um, uh, I was a machine gunner 3 years. Nice, nice, man, nice. I was comms. I was communications. So, um, you'll see it when you believe it. Absolutely, Christopher. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it, brother. Okay? I'm not into all that hype and fanboying and all this kind of crap. And the media and the coaching staff, that's what they get paid to do, right? You're not gonna put down people in your own job, right? You're gonna get fired, right? So when you hear all these players talking and these coaches talking, I take it with a grain of salt. Okay. You listen to all teams. All teams are going to say that about the players they're with and stuff, who they play with and stuff like that, and the coaching staff. Not at least nowadays. Back in the day, you had some players that spoke up and coaches that would tell you like it is. Not anymore. Not anymore. So anyway, yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you. Yep. Um. So Christopher, how do you see the game playing out this week with the Miami Dolphins and the Jaguars? Do you have a score prediction? Do you have a score prediction? Yes or no? I don't know if you were listening earlier. I said 27-24. Um, let me hear your score prediction if you're still in here, brother. I appreciate it. Oh, the stadium in Brazil looks nice. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the stadium in Brazil. Who's playing the first game in Brazil? I forgot. Raphael. Who's playing in Brazil? I know it's a couple of the NFL teams. I can't remember who it was though. Oh, Green Bay. That's right. Green Bay and Philly now. Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, that's right. There is a game on tonight. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn it on after the show. I'm gonna shut down here in just a few minutes and go watch the game. I guess Chris. Oh yeah, it's on now, California. I know. I was just reminded of that. Thanks, brother. Um, I guess Christopher left or whatever. Maybe I hurt his feelings. I don't know. Anyway, um, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night because we do have another game on, but I wanted to have that pregame show for you all, and we'll do pregame shows, like this every Friday, same time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then I'll have my regular show during the season from at on Tuesdays, same time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Unless I sometimes I might change the time, so just keep aware of that whenever I create another show. Um, and also look out for news and breaking news and things like that. Sometimes I'll pop on here with breaking news. Um, and make sure you hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for joining the show tonight. You guys are the best. And ladies, we had Kathleen on here. I appreciate her joining tonight. So, and I'm going to do the, I know a lot of folks are asking me, well, why don't you do the Dolphins #1 thing anymore? So this is for everybody that requested that. Okay. Dolphins #1, baby. Dolphins #1.